As a historian, you don't learn about history. You learn about the research of history and the source of where it comes from.
And I want to pick on the word perspective. How do you build perspective for the next generation coming in or growing up? Using the example of AI, to you and I, because we have worked for a good amount of time, more than a couple of decades, and we can play with AI or the tools to have the right prompts and ask the right questions.
Yeah.
And we have the experience to see which is right or wrong and where do I want to go, and then how do I want to frame the end product.
Yeah.
Because people have mentored us, coached us, and then people have told us what's right or wrong. But if AI will take jobs of the front line or at an admin level, and young people who are coming just graduating now, they might not have the opportunity what you and I had to be coached and trained, and then that perspective of looking at things which is right or wrong. So how would they be using AI as young people who are just coming out of graduation, who doesn't have the experience in entrepreneurship for the last 20 years or 15 years? How to use that tool, and how could they bring in a perspective to cover that gap?
Very interesting. And this question is going to be different as the generations come along, where Gen Z's going to raise their kids and they're going to be, it's going to be an interesting one. But for now where we are, it's kind of like when we grew up without the internet. What was that like? Being able to look something up in a book, in an encyclopedia, having to go back to the index and then going forward to the page and reading about it.
Yeah.
But also understanding the history of where information comes from. As a historian, you don't learn about history. You learn about the research of history and the source of where it comes from. It will be the same thing for AI. Where is the information coming from? And as a large language model, everything is kind of summarized. And they've got reports saying that Reddit is the most common source of information for AI, according to some LinkedIn posts I'm seeing. And then you have Wikipedia. But what do university citations say to not do? You use Wikipedia as a source of information.
Yeah.
But that's what AI is doing. What does that mean? So we can go down whichever rabbit hole, but to answer your question, how do these kids utilize and build perspective and understand the right and wrong from AI? Reading books will be very helpful. Reading literature is very important to understand these concepts. It's like when you have a calculator, you find out the answer, whatever the multiplication is, division, whatever. But at school, they teach you the theory. They teach you from a textbook.